How's it going, everybody? Dr. Nick here. I just had to share something today because I learned a few lessons from my son's kindergarten teacher. And since moving to White Rock area, it's been a massive transition, and sometimes we don't know if we did the right thing because we're further away from our clinic, but then we get little messages, little reminders of why we're here. And so this morning, I received a lesson from my youngest son, Soren's kindergarten teacher. And what happens every Friday morning is we go in, we read with our kids, and then for about 15 minutes, and then we get on with our day and come back later on to pick them up. But today we were invited into a kindergarten meeting. And what happened in this meeting was an amazing lesson for all of us, I feel. And that was that the teacher picked a leader out of the different kids in the class. And the leader had to go around the room and ask each person how they're feeling today. So it went something like this. Good morning, Soren. How are you feeling today? And then Soren would say, I'm feeling good today. And then the little boy, the leader, would ask, well, why are you feeling good? What makes today feel good for you? And then my son answers, well, I feel good because I'm at school today. And then they asked me how I was doing. They asked the other parents. They asked every student that was there how they were feeling. And the reason this is so important is because it was active listening. They're teaching our boy and the kids in the classroom at 5 years old how to be an active listener and just truly, engage in someone and look them in the eye. And that was really encouraged. Look someone in the eye when you're speaking to them. Ask them how you're feeling and why are you feeling that way. This inquisitive connection that can happen at a young age is so powerful, and it just kind of reminds me how often we go through a day and just say, yeah, I'm good. Oh, good. You're good. Everybody's good. And we don't really get to know how someone's feeling, how they're doing, or why they're feeling the way they are. And I was thinking, this being American Thanksgiving, a time for gratitude, a time for connection, a time for actually asking those important questions. And then what this does is it validates everyone in this classroom, and they learn empathy at a young age, because some of the kids said, you know what, I feel sort of good, but I'm also feeling sort of bad. And the same question comes about, oh, why are you feeling bad? Well, I miss my mom, or I miss my little brother, or I miss my dad. And it's just acknowledging kids at a young age. What if we acknowledge those pieces of ourselves? What if we acknowledge that, hey, I'm not having a good day? And we can ask ourselves, well, why aren't you feeling well? Well, because of this and this and this. And then the teacher was so great because she helped to reframe in that experience. I mean, these are little kids with big emotions that don't have a vocabulary to understand how to put that language in together, but they feel it just as deeply as we do. And so many of us are walking through our adult life and not realizing that we've never really engaged in this journey. We've never really understood this piece of ourselves or how to be more inquisitive. So when the little boy or girl was saying, well, I feel kind of sad, the teacher would come in and reframe and go, well, you know what? You get a chance to be with your friends and see your mom or dad later. Or wasn't it great that your mom was able to at least come for the reading this morning, but then she had to go on to work, and your mom's so busy doing the things she's doing, and she'll be here to pick you up, or whatever that is. And I tell you what, I was sitting there in this kindergarten class, just my heart feeling so open and blessed to have a teacher teaching our kids this beautiful art of communication and connection, which is so powerful. And Dr. Sonia talks about this all the time. But to be able to witness that in your kids' classroom was it was breathtaking. It was it gave me hope for humanity. It gave me hope for our boys, that they're growing up and they're in an environment that's really nurturing and supportive of empathy. And at the end of this exercise, there was a little boy who was the child star of the week, and so he would stand up, and then they would go around the circle of kids, and we'd say, what do you appreciate about this little boy? And so they'd say, oh, we like his clothes, we like his style. And then the teacher would go, well, what do you like about him on the inside? And someone would say, well, we love him, he's a good friend, he makes me feel special, he plays with me. And it was such a beautiful time to acknowledge that person. And again, this is emotional intelligence. This is something, again, most of us didn't grow up with. And it's a reminder for me as a parent to, what I was sitting there going like, geez, like sometimes I treat my little boy like he's a teenager already. I mean, our boys are quite obstinate sometimes, and they're quite provoking at times, and I forget that they're still working on their 6 or 5 or 8-year-old emotions. And again, like reflecting on ourselves in these experiences and going, well, what are my 5 or 6-year-old emotions that weren't acknowledged or encouraged or supported or empathized with when I was young? I mean, this is not something most of us learn. So, you know, all this being said, what a beautiful experience that I got to witness this morning. Got to learn how emotional intelligence was being installed, but it was also a good reminder, what's that self-talk that we're speaking to ourselves? How do we open that heart center a little bit more and be more expansive, be more gracious, take time to actually acknowledge someone else and say, how you feeling? Not so good. Oh, well, you know, why aren't you feeling good? And then maybe helping them through a bit of a reframe. So anyways, there's just some gratitude for this Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving weekend. And because we're so close, we can sort of celebrate this, get in the celebration of gratitude and thanking those around us and for the lives that we're living. And when we're stuck, maybe we can just remember that sometimes we're stuck in our 5 or 6-year-old boy or girl emotions. And we just need to nurture them and help ourselves surrender to, you know, maybe not being acknowledged when we were young, and we're still playing out these behaviors now that we're 30, 40, 50 and beyond. So we can give ourselves a bit of a break. You know, so much of how we play out our emotional system or our understanding of the world actually is stemming from our early life programming. From 0 to 7, we're stuck in this. Well, not stuck. We're, you know, this is how our brains operate. We're in this record state of theta, which our theta brainwave state is basically where a lot of our subconscious processing is happening. So our behaviors, often that play out as we get older, are all coming from when we were kids. So we've all got some emotional upgrading, emotional intelligence to work on. And so just a reminder, you know, don't beat yourself up. Remember maybe where some of these emotions are coming from, and just acknowledge that that maybe you just need to, you know, ask yourself how you're doing, and then ask yourself, why do you feel that way? And maybe that's a good start. That's it for now. I'm trying out a new camera. Hopefully it's working well. It's called the Mevo. Experimenting with some new things when Dr. Sonia and I launch our podcast, which is coming up soon. Also, there's tons of changes going on in the clinic right now. It's kind of crazy. Bringing a lot of new, cool, fun tools for all you guys to try into the practice, and all things that we're really excited about. So we'll be sharing more of them as we go along. So thanks for tuning in. All the best to you guys. I gotta figure out how to turn off this camera. Have a great day.